recorders, and we're live, man. What's up?
Would it be like annoying if I was just staring at the camera the whole time?
Not at all, dude. Would you? I'm sure the people at home would love to have those warm eyes staring into their soul. Dude, you have such a larger than life presence. Let me be honest with you.
Okay.
And I've been watching your clips. I think you're really funny, dude. So I appreciate
Thanks.
you coming and
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
this
thanks,
interview.
man.
This is awesome, dude.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. You know, all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
Before we started recording, we were talking about Megan Hall. You know Megan Hall, right?
Oh, the cop, right?
The cop
yeah,
from
okay, that's
Nashville.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your take on this?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I didn't do any research. Like, all I know is like what the memes are saying.
That's all I know.
I don't know. I think if we're gonna give her a hard time, we gotta give those other guys a hard time too.
100%.
And I don't know. Like, I don't know. To me, like, I don't know. I'm very pro sex work, so like,
Okay.
I don't use those like shame terminologies.
Right,
like
right.
I'm like, sow your oats. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what's going on, but it's like, if we're gonna like, I don't know why we know her name and not like the dudes' names.
Right.
Like those guys all cheated on their husbands, on their wives.
That's true too.
You know,
On
so-
the prospective partner, for sure, they did.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Like, and we don't know their arrangements. You know what I mean?
That's true. You mentioned something about you saw some information that
I had heard that maybe he cheated on her.
Okay.
So this was like her comeback, like her vengeance. And in that case, like, all right, man, you
what
did
a
it.
comeback.
You won. Yeah.
What a fucking comeback.
You did it.
This is, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the fan of the underdog. She's an underdog for sure. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
She's an underdog.
She's the one. She got cheated on,
She got cheated on.
and then she turns it around. Like we should be applauding this woman, not.
It was an upset for the entire Nashville Police Department, though. That's what we will say, because it seems like she was like not just screwing any old Jerry and Jack. She was actually going for like the top ranking
Yeah.
officers.
And maybe like trying to get scandal. Maybe she was trying to
Maybe.
like ruin these relationships. Like maybe
might
it
be
was
right.
like, she's like she's got like a little bee in her bonnet, and she's like,
Yeah.
I'll show men. And
Yeah.
then, like,
Or men, and we really don't know what kind of attraction, flirtation, or like previous relationships she's had with all these men in her life. They could have all been mentors, role models, went to the academy with her. You know, sometimes you have a crush on someone for 10 years and you never even get to date with them.
yeah.
It's just like, yeah, we have an attraction, but it's not. So she could have had, this could have been boiling up. Like, we really don't know the outside or the inside workings of the story. And I like that you mentioned that. I love to speculate. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do,
That's
right?
what we're just trying to riff and have fun. But like,
And like, I'll be damned if I'm gonna research it. Like,
Right,
I'm not. Like, I'll just make some guesses.
yeah.
And then if like
I
someone
might watch a YouTube video and
Yeah.
listen to someone tell me the synopsis, and then I'll fill in the blanks
Yeah,
with
yeah,
funny
yeah,
and
yeah.
stupid commentary. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
the whole
need-
point of the show.
I'm not gonna like read a Wikipedia page. Like, I'm just gonna like, oh, it's probably this. And
Yeah.
then like convince myself
Right.
that was it. Get on with my life.
I don't know, man. I know that like I think that I've definitely
That's her name though, Megan Hall.
Megan Hall. Yeah.
I thought it was like a crazy name.
No, I think it's just Megan. And she wasn't like a 10. If we're being honest, the chick is a hard 6, dude. Maybe a 7.
I mean, I'm not gonna comment on that, but I will say that a woman 6 is gonna plow through men 8s,
100%.
like just clean up,
You know why?
because men have no standards.
Well, the men have no standards. Exactly, and that goes to prove this point here. Men fuck who will let them fuck them.
Yeah.
Women fuck who they want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're ugly. If you have a vagina, you can really get by with
Sometimes not even. Sometimes it doesn't even matter.
That's
like
true.
I
you're right.
yeah.
You don't have to have a vagina. I'm sorry.
Like I have said this many times that like my biggest turn on is enthusiasm.
Yes.
Like if she's dying to do it, I can see past a lot of flaws. You know what I
spot
mean?
on with
Like,
that, dude.
I'm not a Bon Jovi member at the carnival. You know what I mean? Like I'm no prize. So
Right. I know what you're saying, dude. Yeah, I don't mean to like get down on her because she's not like a great looking gal. It just, I guess
she's also a fine looking gal.
she's pretty. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's not. It's not like she's like ugly. I'm just saying like compared to like what you would throw it all away for. It seems like what a guy would do it for is way
Oh.
less. Does that make sense?
Well, I also don't think that men think like that.
Yeah, we're just trying to get it in the moment.
Especially cops.
Mm-hmm.
Cops don't think they're throwing it all away. Like they think they're above everything.
That's true, dude.
Like
You're
cops
right.
think they're above like the law. They think like they can do whatever. They drive drunk. They turn on the siren to
Yes.
speed through a light. Like they do all the things that they're not supposed to do,
Including Megan.
including their employees.
Yeah.
And they don't think anything of it. So like I think that's giving those cops too much credit even to be like, oh, like you threw it all away over this girl. It's like, yeah, they don't think that they're throwing it all away. Yeah. And in a lot of those cases, they're probably not. Like it was like 10 guys and like 2 got fired, or I don't know.
I think it was 4 guys and 2 got fired.
So, all right. So 2 of those guys skated.
Still work there.
Yeah. All right.
That's pretty fucking nuts, dude.
I mean, you getting blowjobs in the interrogation room and you still work there? All right.
You know what I think that's from? And this happened to me at a job before. Okay, so this is kind of an embarrassing story.
You need a second? You need like a...
Yeah, this is kind of embarrassing. I've never told anybody this story before, but I'll tell you because it's been about 10 years or something like that. So I was working at this job, and I was smoking weed with the supervisor. So I was working at a landscape job. The supervisor, me, and then we had a third guy in the back that was new, and he would not smoke with us in the truck. All right. So this is actually pretty common amongst like construction workers, landscapers, probably doctors and stuff too. People smoke pot on their lunch break, like people smoke cigarettes. So that's what we were doing. Essentially, the third guy, who was the new guy, called in on us, reports us to the higher ups. Right? Yeah. They come down to the job site. They don't let us drive the trucks back home because they say that we're intoxicated. And I get fired on the spot, but the guy who was my supervisor, he got suspended for 2 weeks and got to have his job. So I think that like those guys losing their job is just like, how do you say, like a casualty of war. Like someone has to go.
Someone has to go.
Make a point.
And it's the guys that we can replace easiest.
Sure.
We don't have to train a new guy.
There you go. I didn't even put that into account.
Yeah, we don't have to train a guy. We don't have to hire a new guy. Like,
yes.
You know, all right, these guys are gone. And then also like, I mean, I didn't see it, but like, you know, maybe there's racism involved. Maybe it's like the black guys got fired, the white guys got, or vice versa.
You're right. Yeah.
Or, you know, or you know, like we've had a problem with this guy in the past, so like he didn't even do anything with the girl, but like we've had problems with him. Let's make him the you know the
scapegoat.
The scapegoat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you know, or that guy's on film with his floppy dick out, and they're like, all right, you can't.
I was trying to find the video. I was trying to find the video before we started. I wanted to watch it with you before we started recording, but I couldn't find a great video on it. It was just like people talking about it. So it's actually kind of it's getting buried probably right now by someone's probably trying to pull it, especially if it happened in a cop car or at the station. If it's surveillance footage that's going around, I don't know what exactly it is, but if it's that's misconduct on the police department's end, and they kind of would be responsible for that. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but that's a fun story, and I just keep seeing it everywhere, this girl's face. And this morning I was like, who is this lady? So this is my Google search, and this is the power of memes and where we live in society today. I wrote into Google, who is the blonde police officer from the memes, and it said her name immediately and pulls up the story. So it's like, that's how much the word meme means to like our society today, dude. Huge, bro. Huge. I see memes that are funnier than stuff that it took me 2 years, 3 years to develop sometimes. Like some of my best shit that I've been working on since day one that I like really think is great on stage, I'll see a meme that will blow that out of the water all the time, bro. It's just something about a visual imagery that's different than when you're telling a story or something like that, right? That's just something funny about it. That's why funny movies are so cool and popular.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something to it.
But I mean, you know, that's the game, right? Like we gotta paint that picture. Like
yes.
We have to.
That's what a really good comic can do. Take you on that journey and make the people see it in their own head, right?
I always say like, the way I phrase it is, and whatever, who the f am I? I always phrase it like, our goal is to convey the information to the audience that they need to find what we're saying funny.
Yes.
So like, if in the meme there's a photo of a platypus with a shark's tooth in his eyeball, I have to convey to you in as few words as possible, picture a platypus with a shark's tooth in his eyeball.
Yeah.
So that these next words are going to hit you as hard as they hit in that
Yes.
meme. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And also in the meme, you typically will read the text first. So you get a little bit of subtext before the picture. And I don't know if that helps it be funnier. I'm a little bit dyslexic, though. Maybe I'm doing that backwards because sometimes I write bits backwards. Like I'll write the punchline first for some reason. But I feel like maybe, do you look at the picture or read the subtext first? How do you approach it? It's hard to say, right?
I don't know. I think, I probably interpret the photo first.
Okay. So then it is like a joke in that way.
And I'm like, oh, it's a camera lens. And it's like, oh, beside myself with lenses or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's funny or not funny based on
the imagery.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
It's hard to say. I've been trying
it's
in my head I've been trying to decipher this too. Like what is, and also it's hard to say whether like a computer generated picture or just some picture somebody made is funnier than like a real human person, because you just don't get the emotion of a joke and someone on stage and the experience of being in a dark bar room or club.
There's all sorts of, there's so many things at play, and like so many psychological things at play too, like
nuances to it.
Yeah, like I always get a kick out of like, I used to have a bit like that, it didn't work, and it's like, well, then you didn't have a bit like this.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's so many things that go into whether or not it works. Like I can't just take your word for it. Like, just as we had like similar premises, or like we came at something from a similar point of view, like there's so many things I'm doing differently than you did.
Yes.
To make this joke work now that you couldn't make work last year or 4 years ago, whatever it is.
Right.
Does that, I don't know.
I know what you're saying though. I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's you, like you see someone else doing a similar bit that you have, or this is a common thing amongst comedians. It's like, I had a joke like that 6 months ago, but it didn't really pan out.
Well, then
like, that wasn't my joke then.
Yeah,
right?
then it wasn't. Then it wasn't a good joke.
It was. Yeah, it was
I wrote a good joke. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
there you go. There you go.
Get better. What can I tell you?
A lot of it is about like the structure. You're right. There's such a big list of things that you would have to name, and as a comic, not only does no one tell you, but it's hard to like verbalize all the things and the accoutrement that it takes to.
Yeah, there's. I mean, there's like a level of psychology that goes into it. There's a level of personality that goes into it. There's a level of physicality that goes into it. There's the written word. There's the order that the other jokes went in.
Yes.
There's victimizing. Like, so like, I was working on this polyamory joke, and my first version of it, I'm a very bad guy in it. And it took me a month to figure out a new angle to go where I'm the victim and not the villain. And that changes everything. Now it's a laughable joke. Before it's like, ew, you're a scumbag.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, like, I can't take someone else's word for it when they're like, oh, I had a similar bit. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing unique about a polyamory joke.
Right.
Like, and I'm not claiming it to be this like unique, wonderful craftsmanship, but mine's funny. And I don't hear yours.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I know exactly what you're saying. It didn't work. It doesn't. I think a lot of art, like a big part of art that gets overlooked too, especially by people, because it gets consumed every day.
So you consider this art?
I don't know. Or not. I don't know if this is art, but I'm just saying comedy definitely is.
Yeah. Okay.
Written format, definitely. That's an artistic.
No, I agree. It's just sometimes people.
Not the podcast.
Yeah.
This is
no. Oh no. I'm what? Well, this is a
talk. You're saying like us talking in general. This is definitely not art.
No. But you think stand-up comedy is art? Yeah, I agree.
We are on the lower shelf. I'm not gonna say that we're not like, it's not the best art in the world, but I just think there's something about artistic expression that comes from perspective, right? Because just everybody can hold a paintbrush. Everybody can write a joke because there is a science to these things, right?
Right. There's
your perspective.
You can teach the formula of joke. Yeah.
Yes, but perspective is what makes it funny, because you're like cutting these situations with all the shit that you went through from childhood till now, and then also, like you said, you're also cutting it with the kind of the preset jokes that you have in place to lead up to this point, right?
Right.
It's something that definitely plays into the rest of your set and your personality. So
yeah.
There's a certain perspective to it that makes it funny for you. And I think that as a comedian, we also get confused as to like, are they laughing because they think it's funny or because it's funny that it happened to me? I mean, that's okay. Like, I'm okay with getting laughed at and being the victim sometimes is what I mean. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, but I think that's part of the job.
yeah. You can't be scared to be the clown.
You have to be
right?
vulnerable. So that's why I think that like when rappers try to do stand up, it doesn't work.
T.I.?
T.I.
Yeah.
Because
It's a
he
great
can't
example.
be the butt of a joke.
Right.
And he proved that immediately.
He's already too successful.
He's too cool of a dude.
Yeah.
I'll never be the butt of a joke.
Right.
You can't laugh at me.
Right.
So his stories are all like him punching down on something or other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this unrelatable thing. Same thing with like with Ice Cube in those early movies.
Right.
Where he wasn't yet comfortable being a victim.
Yeah.
He had to be the coolest dude. And it's like, well, it's not that funny if you're the coolest dude.
I think when Ice Cube's movie career really took off is when those kids started kicking his ass.
Right. 100%. When he started getting beat up by children.
It got funny.
It got funny because he's now a victim.
I watch this with my kids all the time. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. That's such, I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
a good perspective to look at it, like, for sure.
Because that girl that like roasted T.I. and he like lost his mind on her.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you'll never make it as a stand-up.
Right.
Our job is to be vulnerable. We're victims.
Yeah.
We're jesters. That's where it comes from.
The court jester.
Like, it's my job to get you to laugh at my pain.
Yep.
That Chris Rock special, Laugh at My Pain.
Laugh at my pain.
Like, that's 100%.
Jeez, it's spelled right out for you.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is.
Jeez.
And I can't, yeah.
That's a good title for a story, dude. Laugh at my pain. Man, I can't wait to actually watch that. I've been seeing a lot of people who said that they saw him live, and I don't think he's recorded this special yet.
Woo.
Chris Rock?
Oh, no, I think that's like it's the early one.
Oh, Laugh at My Pain is an older one. Okay, I got you. That's not the name of his new one. Do you know the name of the new one? I keep hearing people talk about it. Apparently,
oh, Kevin Hart is Laugh at My Pain.
Kevin Hart, yeah. Apparently, the new Chris Rock special, though, where he's talking about the Will Smith situation, people are saying it's better than Bigger and Blacker or like his earlier stuff. It's at that level.
Yeah, because he talked a few years ago about how like his particular brand of autism doesn't let him recognize facial cues.
Oh, really?
So when Will Smith was walking up to him, he honestly was like, "Are you pissed? Are you joking?
Yes.
Like, what's our thing here?" And he had his hands behind his back because he was like, "I'm sure he's not going to hit me."
Right. On national television in front of all of our friends and respective fucking board members. Like, I mean, there was like higher up execs in those places. That's who sits in the front row is industry.
Will Smith's fine. He's still
a
out
very
there.
wealthy guy.
Yeah, he's still out there. He'll be
I
fine.
guess once you get to a certain level, man.
You don't think you're gonna get caught? You don't think you could
It's
bang
like
the cop?
Megan
You
Hall.
could bang the cop. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
true.
getting in trouble.
That's true, dude.
I'm above it. I'm Will Smith.
I'm Will Smith, dude. He's the freshest prince.
I'm the freshest of princes.
Dude, he was the fresh king, if we're being honest at this point.
And he even the show Bel Air. Come on.
Is there anything that you can, because you've been in the game a lot longer than me, obviously, and like you're just touring through my area right now, and that's how I was lucky to score this interview. So you're a touring comic. You're actually a working comedian. What are some advice that you can give to like some younger comics, whether it's me or other people listening, about like writing your routines and about just getting to that next level, like about jokes?
I mean, if there's any like, yo, I can't stress this enough. If there is anything else in the world that will make you happy, do that.
don't do comedy. That's your advice. You guys should quit. That's what.
If there, no. Look, if there's nothing, if this is the only way you can be happy,
Yeah.
yo,
I think for
pack
me
up the
it
car.
is, yeah.
I'm in.
I'm crazy. So
There's nothing that's gonna make me happy. A
Yeah.
wife, a kid, none of that's gonna matter to me.
yeah,
None of that.
right.
I need to be telling jokes on stage every night. This is the only way I'm happy.
Yeah.
But if there was anything else, I encourage you to do anything else.
Right.
Because there's nothing harder than this.
Yeah.
They constantly move the goalposts. They don't tell you where they're moving them.
I know.
They don't tell you how to get to them. And then when you finally get them, they move them again. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, what the fuck am I? What am I doing? There's like no ability to win.
Right.
And
It doesn't matter what you do or how many accolades you get. Dude.
yeah.
I know that's what.
And
it
now,
sounds
now the big hurdle, my big hurdle is what makes me come.
yeah.
You know what I mean? like, oh, we really need a pansexual midget, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, is there a pansexual midget that's funnier than me? How about just the funniest person?
Right. They used to be the funniest person in the room got the job. There was a time when that was a thing.
Look, I understand that we listen. We could have hired 2 black girls in 1950 and it would have changed everything.
Right.
And we didn't hire those 2 black girls.
Right.
So now we're paying the price now. I get that.
Right.
And I'm fine with it. People need to be represented.
Yes.
People need to see themselves on screen so that it perpetuates the cycle
Their
more.
own dreams and stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course. You need to see people that look like you on screen, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm a huge proponent of that. The people that I open for on the road are always like strong females or lesbians or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'll work. I work for whoever. Like, yes, all of it. Good,
Yes.
great. But it shouldn't matter what makes me come.
Yeah.
Like, the only people that need to know what makes me come are the people trying to make me come.
Yeah.
And then either I give you consent or I don't give you consent. And that's how you find out.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
coming is more important than we think, I guess.
I guess.
If we're being honest and we're putting it down to like that kind of like perspective, or that, like, if we kind of put it in that box, coming is the most important thing, maybe.
Yeah. And it's like, I consider myself heterosexual, but some of the women I jerk off to have penises.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, depending on who are we asking?
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, if we're asking me, like, hey, I'm heterosexual, give it to someone else.
Yes.
But like, are you asking like a guy in MMA who's like a big meathead?
Yeah.
He'll call me, he'll drop the F-bomb for me, for
sure.
sure.
He'll call you gay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So like, if we're asking him, then yeah, I should get the gig.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, that's true, dude. That's funny as hell.
It shouldn't matter what makes you come. I don't know.
It shouldn't. I think that a lot of it has to do with like hype and stuff like that and politics of our time, right? And kind of like it's just everything changes over time. We always look back on stuff that we did and we're like, oh, that was pretty silly. As a society, we kind of fucked up. Maybe we should take this back, right?
Yeah. So I definitely say that. I'm like, we should have just hired those 2 black girls in the 1950s and we wouldn't be in this predicament.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
But
what
we
I'm
didn't
saying.
do
Just
that.
to add to your point. Yeah, I think that's 100% accurate.
No, I mean, to some extent I believe it, but then also like there's that Bill Burr perspective from his most recent special where it's like, you fought for that WNBA and then you didn't go to the WNBA.
Right.
Like, you're still not supporting it.
Yeah.
So it's like, are people going to these LGBTQ shows? Like,
some though. Yeah, you're right.
Some are for sure. Like, I open for Ashley Gavin and she sells out constantly.
Yeah.
So people are going to see her for sure.
Maybe that's in progressive markets in bigger cities where there's a high population, right? Or is it everywhere?
We go to Des Moines and Omaha and Cincinnati.
I got you,
And she's crushing it everywhere.
Right.
But I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, and I don't want to seem like I'm not. Like, I get progress and I want progress.
No, you're sensitive to it. I think it just.
I just hate getting turned down for things because I don't jerk off to the right thing.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's weird. Like,
I might convert. I don't know.
Like, especially because I think I do jerk off to the right things. You
don't list it online.
I don't because it's not part of who I am. It's not part of my fabric.
I think it's less a part of people's fabric than we give credit to, right? We're almost putting that up front as the thing that we want to be known as.
Like the thing that shaped me the most was growing up poor.
Yes.
And then the thing that shaped me second most was being identified as a Jew.
Yeah.
In a society where Jews are very second class. Like, it's Christmas. Well, there's also Jews. We don't do that. Right. But forget that. You know what I mean? Like,
Christians have
yeah. Which, again, like, you can say people are going to say anti-Semitic things and be like, the Jews run the media or whatever. There's no nepotism for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't. I mean, no offense to you, but this is the biggest podcast I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no nepotism.
Right. No, I hear you.
It
makes sense.
There isn't a Jew committee I can join.
Right. Could you have them put me
I would have been long gone. I would have been
You guys don't have a cult or anything like
no,
that.
I wish we did.
Yeah, it would be so much cooler.
It would be so much cooler if we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of that shit is just speculation, man. Like I don't even know. It's kind of like how it's the same probably logic that people come up with secret societies and all that. Are there people who are
Sure.
meeting in private? Of course.
Sure.
Are powerful people meeting in private? Of course. But does that mean that I don't know. It does. Are they running the world?
Probably.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's nefarious. Things have always been like that. You have to have a structure in society, right? And I don't know what to do.
It's probably a little nefarious, you know.
Maybe.
They have their kid sex islands. That's fucking weird.
True. That's true.
You know.
Yeah. A dungeon in a bag, you know.
And it's like that's still crazy to me because like that woman, Ghislaine.
Yes. What happened to her?
So she got convicted.
Life in prison, yeah?
So that means that people were buying and selling kids on her watch.
Yes.
And we can't find out who those people are?
Who knows who the people are? That's what's important.
Well, I
too.
think it's the people that like are prosecuting the people.
Yeah.
So it's like the judge of that case and the
Yeah.
DA of that case and the president and the other president
And the Supreme Court
and the president
justice.
before him and the
Yeah.
president after him.
Yep. And Shaq and fucking Ryan
And,
Gosling.
well,
Not the name specific.
I mean,
people,
I don't
I'm just
wanna-
saying-
yeah.
I'm just throwing very popular people out.
I don't
there.
want to disparage Ryan Gosling.
Sure,
I feel
no.
like he could probably get an adult woman, but
Such a handsome guy. Such a handsome.
how heartbreaking would that be? Like to find out that like all these like
LeBron.
all the yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God, Bronny, no, no.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, go
That's
ahead.
okay. We don't have to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
These cameras are gonna cut off in about 2 minutes, and then we can do another short one if you want. And
Yeah,
keep
sure.
going. Okay, cool. I'll stop the recorder too, but yeah, man, I appreciate you coming. This is pretty cool, man. I think people are gonna get a lot out of this. Like, I felt like we started going down a road where we were talking about comedy and routines, and then we kind of got into some of our own biases. And then, but it's also good to be able to talk about this stuff and not feel like we're, how do you say? We should be able to talk about people as long as we're not punching down on them or anything. We're just kind of sorting through what society and like the comedy culture has been doing and the changes that it's been making. I'm trying to get used to it myself because I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about exactly either. Like,
I don't think
censorship is at an all-time high.
Yeah, I don't think I'm punching down ever because poor is the worst.
Yes. We don't have any representation. Especially
Poor is the worst.
Especially poor whites and poor Jews. They don't really have a lot of representation.
Yeah, everyone expects you to be rich and successful, and it's like I have $800 left, and
That's trying to get you to the next couple shows.
and I have to I have to have 3 weeks off because I have surgery coming up next week, and I have to move because my place is getting sold.
Shit, dude.
So it's like, well, that's not gonna last.
Right.
So it's like I understand how people go homeless. I understand. I mean, when I left Long Island, I was living out of the car for. I mean, I had my shit in my old apartment, but that was just because my ex is a kind person and was like, you can leave your shit here. But I didn't have I was living in the road for 4 months before I found a place, and then I had to scrape together the money to put a hitch on my car to get my shit from point A to B, and that, fortunately I still have the hitch, so
That's
it's
cool.
only a couple $100 to get my stuff back to the East Coast. But it's if one poorly timed bill or a speeding ticket or God forbid a car accident,
Yeah.
I have to cancel shows.
All right, I'm gonna stop these and restart them. And we are back, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the Morning Woods podcast. Once again, really appreciate you for being here. Go down to the bottom, like and subscribe. And we're here with Neil Rubenstein, originally from Long Island. Yes,
Long Island.
Originally the home of the iced tea, but now you're in Oklahoma City, and you actually are planning to move to.
I'm going back east. I'm going to go to Atlantic City.
You're going to be in Atlantic City before the end of the year.
Before spring.
In the next couple of months.
Yeah.
I gotta get you connected with my buddies down there too. We were talking
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
earlier.
for sure,
I
yeah.
don't want to forget about that for sure. Before you leave, I'll send them a text or something like that.
Yeah. No, I know Merck and McNeely from
Then you're good.
back
If you
in the
already know
day.
those guys. Then.
yeah, I'm just gonna head back east and do some touring out of there. Try and get on some New York based things.
Yeah. Is it a little more liberal comedy up there? Do you notice that? Like when you go more like like in New York, Philly, no? It's more people are still pretty laid back about that kind of thing. That's good to hear. I've never done comedy in New York. It's a dream of mine.
The only time so I opened for Ashley Gavin. I mentioned this.
Okay.
Her audiences are very PC.
Yes.
So those audiences, and then like sometimes you get like Brooklyn or Portland or like Berkeley, California. Like those audiences will get a little on the PC-ish side.
Where they may not laugh if you say something that's over the top or something like that.
Well, so the biggest problem is because I don't really. I mean, I push buttons, but I'm not on the wrong side of that stuff for those people.
Well, you're doing it because it's comedy, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to explain it to me, but I do know what you're saying. Sometimes you do have to preface it.
So I'll say a buzzword, and then that's how I know that they're not paying attention. Is because I'll say a buzzword, and some girl in the audience will be like, "Oh no, no, you didn't.
Exactly.
No, you didn't."
Exactly.
And it's like, well, did you listen to the rest of the story?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you hear the joke? Because you know that I'm on the correct side of that joke.
Exactly.
Like you're
like
deciding
a pro gay joke.
Yeah. So you could and this has happened like 3 or 4 times, and only 3 or 4 times in the thousands of times I've done these jokes.
Most people do listen.
Right.
Right.
But occasionally someone's like, "Oh," and you're like, "Oh, you didn't. You're just listening now. Like you were talking to your friend just like,
or you were listening for me to say something along those lines."
Yeah, you decided before I got up here.
Yeah. Because of the way you look or whatever.
That's
a
like
white guy with tattoos on his hands. I think people probably give you a lot of that, bro, before you even get your fucking great art that you've been crafting for years.
Dude, people be like, I'll hear some fucking some kid will be like, "Oh, like this old guy, this old white cis hetero guy," like to me, and I'm like,
yeah,
don't.
You have no idea.
Like, you would be so mad if I labeled you.
Yeah, that's true too.
So mad.
Yeah.
Don't label me. You have no idea who you're talking to.
Oh wow, that's a good point, because most of the time it's people who don't want you using any of their pronouns or even talking about what they are, who they are, that are saying things like
How
that.
dare you assume?
Sure.
How dare I assume you're a woman because you look like a woman and you're holding a guy's hand?
Yes.
And the guy has a full beard?
Yes.
Yeah, I assumed you're a woman. Correct me and I won't do that again.
Exactly. I'm not sure
But
what's
don't
going
get
on
mad
inside
at
your
me.
head.
Don't get mad at me because I assume... Yeah, because I'm navigating life like everyone else.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
And most people want you to say miss.
Yes.
They get mad if you go, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, most. Okay, so your generation wants it a different way. I'll appease.
Yes, but it's hard.
But
to
don't
just
lose
leave
your mind. Yeah, don't lose your mind over it. Like, this is a learning moment. You know, like if it was some ignorant old man, you could take that second to teach him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
once Elon gets that Neuralink in all of our heads, dude,
then we know.
you'll be able to look at
Yeah.
someone and just it will all pop up in your database in your Google Glass before you have time to even identify them. You know, you'll get their entire profile. That's gonna be good for comedy and maybe bad for comedy at the same time. Hopefully, you'll be able to get like a blocker, like like a firewall protection or something like that. To kind of like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to
antivirus for my brain. Dude.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to like keep people out of the shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're gonna be a problem. Go.
Yeah. Oh, we saw that you actually heckled the last 3 shows.
So you're out. You're not allowed to listen to my stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Turn off their headphones.
You could be a lot more selective with it that way, couldn't you?
Well, that's the thing. We talking about the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. Like, people come up to me and be like, "Oh, well, like now that it's open season on comics," I'm like, no, it's open season on audiences.
Right. Like,
you guys have always been able to heckle us and throw stuff at us. But now, if you come on, now you think you're going to come on stage and you think it's going to be the same story.
That's a problem.
We'll see how that goes. You step on my stage. We'll see how that goes.
Dude. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, unless you're a really big guy, I mean, I'm not exactly like really buff or anything, but I'm pretty strong, dude. I would hate for someone to do that, but it would be a viral moment. I know that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, I think every comic kind of wishes a motherfucker would right now.
Well, like that girl Ariel got the beer thrown at her, and her whole life changed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like good for her. You know,
that's true.
And that's the other thing about it is like it's not even like about being a big guy at that point. It's like if you get on our stage, you're we're gonna defend
We
the
have
stage.
to. There's no way.
And it's not just the comic on stage; it's all the comics, and it's anybody who respects that stage.
I'm punching you for Chris Rock.
Yeah,
I'm punching you for Ariel.
But like, not even like, not just the person with the microphone.
Right.
You're gonna have to deal with everyone in the building that defends that microphone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're defending the art of stand-up.
Yeah.
You're right. It's bigger than you. In that moment,
Yeah,
let someone
yeah,
walk
yeah.
the stage, and it's bigger than you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about me.
Yeah. Man, that's
It's about the sanctity of that stage.
So you've had experiences with like shows for even before stand-up, right? For years. I read your bio.
Yeah,
You've
I
actually been
work
like
with bands and stuff.
Yeah, you work with bands, and so can you tell me about like? I'm a big fan of Taking Back Sunday, and you worked with them too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And what kind of experiences? Did you ever have any? You got any crazy stories you could tell me about being on tours with rock bands?
I mean, yeah, like nothing's like popping up in the Rolodex right now.
Well, then maybe just tell me
But,
about some of your
like-
roles as like what's the day-to-day livings of a tour manager? Because that's something that I think is really fascinating. Is being on the road full time, man. I haven't been doing comedy long enough to be a full-time road guy, right? So I want the juice on that. Like, what's it like, dude?
I mean, I don't know. It's all I've really ever done. Like whenever I'm home for too long, I get kind of like, I don't know. I get like, ugh.
Yeah. How long have you been actually like touring, even before stand up, and kind of
I mean, like,
since you were in the early 20s, or like
yeah, like right out of high school.
you played music, and how'd you get into that career?
Yeah, so I started playing music, dude. It all started. I saw like when I was like 11 or something. I saw Motley Crue on the cover of like Kerrang or Circus or something.
Sick.
And I was like, those guys look bad as fuck. Like, that's what I want to do. I just want to be those guys. And so, like, my whole life was just, like, to be, like, a tattooed rocker. Like, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, like, circumstances made me a certain kind of person. And, yeah, it was just, like, I just once, I joined a band out of high school and we toured a little bit. And then other bands would like back then it was like in your small scene, like if you were known as the guy who goes on tour,
Like the roadie guy that hooks up the microphones. And,
yeah, like
so
they
you
would
like
ask, right?
Sagehand and stuff.
Well, yeah, but they would be like, other bands would be like, oh, like what's touring like? Can you come like go on tour with us and show us how to live on the road?
Literally
kinda?
the same thing I'm asking you.
Yeah.
But that's like
basically,
more
yeah.
organic
Yeah, more like
back then.
actually doing it, like
Yeah.
show us.
Hand to hand, day to day. Yeah.
So you were just like, I just started going out with other bands, and then like one day someone offered me like a lot of money to go out with them,
Like enough to quit your job.
enough to like that would be it.
Yeah.
And that was it. I quit my band and I just started working for other bands. And then, there was like all sorts of roadblocks and detours and stuff. And then ultimately we end up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on tour.
And I just want to be on tour.
Yeah. So you're doing, you're opening for a lot of really big name comics right now. So it seems like you're really getting your foot in the door as far as the industry is concerned.
I'm trying my best. Yeah. Like it's tough. Like, I always, like I say, like to like younger comics, like the most important thing, like I don't even think being funny is even in the criteria anymore. I think like if you're serviceable, the most important thing is like be cool. Like if you're fun to be around and you like read and manage egos properly, like people want you around.
Mm-hmm.
And if people want you around, then you get the gigs. You know what I mean? No one's hiring a stick in the mud.
Yeah.
But someone will hire someone who's like, always gets free weed pens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they'll get like that guy, if he's even serviceable, he's coming on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of thing. It's like, what are you
bringing to the table?
What are your assets?
Yeah.
And like if your asset is like, oh, I'm fun to be around and I'm a logistics expert, then like, yeah, you'll get work, because like so-and-so will be like, hey, I'm going to be in Des Moines, Omaha, and Kansas City. Like, do you want to do those dates with me? And it's like, yeah, I'll drive. I'll pick you up at this airport. We'll do these 3 shows. We'll stay in Omaha the second night. I'll drop you off at that airport, and then I'll go this way. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that kind of
Yeah, logistics. So you have to
yeah,
really
yeah,
be able to
yeah.
figure that out.
And that's something that's something I'm good at because of touring with bands, where I'm just like, like I look at a routing, and I look at a routing the way like like a Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe,
Yeah.
where like it just like starts like glowing and things like come out of it and
Right.
stuff. Like that's how I look at routings. Where
That's
I'm just
fire.
I'm like it's a 7-hour drive, it's a 4-hour drive.
So that's like your special autistic
Yeah.
spectrum, basically.
My particular brand of autism
That's
is
fire.
yeah.
That's cool as fuck. So that's a wild thing, man, because did you know that you were going to be doing stand up, or is this like, when did that start? Is this, you said 20 years in that too, or were you like opening for the bands, or what was
yeah, it's like
it's all a combination, obviously,
yeah,
right?
so it was like I did band stuff, and then I got into like I grew up like my dad was always my dad and my brother. Everyone's like my family's very like criminally
Yeah,
low
I got
level
you.
like low level.
I know I know the type. My family too. Yeah, yeah.
So I was always like that was always like not a fallback, but that was always like something inherent to me. So then I started touring for a while, and then like I was like, oh, I'm gonna come home from tour and like I don't know, try and like I don't know if I wanted to like maybe I thought I would have a relationship and being like a normal guy.
Yeah.
So I came off a tour, and I started running a poker room, an illegal poker room in New York, and then that developed into other stuff,
Dude,
and then
that sounds like a great story.
and then
I'd like to get that on its own someday.
and then I got asked. My buddy did a TV show because it was like the poker boom. So my buddy did a TV show on Spike, where they taught celebrities how to play card games.
I watched that show. That's badass.
So that he hired me to do that show. So all of a sudden I'm on TV. That lasted like 4 years. I like did like a bunch of extra work for a bunch of other things.
So you were on the show?
Yeah.
Dude, I had to have seen you then, because I was a huge fan of Spike TV. That was the time where Rogan and Stanhope were doing the Man Show, right? Probably around that
So around that time,
and then 1,000
yeah.
Ways to Die. I mean, the network was great back then. They had a handful of
Yeah.
shows that were really
So
successful.
do you remember it was like interstitials, and it was Steve Sharippa and Beth O.
I do remember that too.
So I was the dealer on that show.
Dude, I remember seeing you. I mean, like, I swear, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. You did not have the beard back then, though, did you?
I had it was like a more of a chin strap.
Yeah. Really, a lot thinner, darker.
Yeah. I was also thinner.
That's pretty wild, dude. So you got a TV spot just from knowing a guy, friend of a friend, and they were like, threw you on TV. Now, listen, I'm not trying to talk shit, but
I mean, that's how
Jewish?
No. He was Italian.
He's like, listen, I know I said that wasn't a thing, but that's how I got.
No.
That's very.
But that ran out. You know what I mean? Like that ran out a long time ago. And then like I went back out on tour and I did all these other things again. And then I started taking stand up like really seriously because I realized that I wanted to see the rest. I still want to see the world.
Yeah.
Like I'm not done.
Yes.
And so then I started stand up again because I was like, well, this is a way to see the world if I get big enough or if I get good enough. And I don't have to like count on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that's what happened there.
I have a similar, I think, outlook, or there's something in me that like craves stand up, and then I also did music. I did hip hop and rap, and made instrumentals and stuff like that for many years before I got into comedy. And I was so like, I think earlier talking about T.I. and then also just talking about your journey from music into comedy, I think I can relate to you in that way. So just to put that there into perspective, and then also I want to make a point about oh god, dude, I lost my train of thought. What is the last thing that you said? I'm sorry. You remember?
Wanted to see the world if I got big enough.
Yeah, you wanted to see the world. So I've always wanted to travel the world too.
Mm.
And when I was younger, I got into some criminal activity, and so I tried to go to the army to get out of it.
Mm.
So I was like, this is a way that I'll see the world, and I won't be maybe touring as a musician or something. And then I also had dabbled in stand up when I was 18 once or twice, and kind of did some open mics. But then music ended up being the way that I went for many years. But I was like, I got to go do this, and then it didn't pan out. They were like, we're not going to let you go to the army because it's still an active case, and they don't do that anymore. And it just so happened to be the time in history where they were kind of doing away with those programs that you would hear about, where guys would get like kind of sent to the army or scared straight or whatever. And so I wasn't able to participate in anything like that. And so it kind of like I kind of got stuck here for the last 5, 10 years, whatever it is. And then along those ways, you're trying to find jobs and this and that. And then I found a relationship. And so it's like I wasn't able to go and live those dreams that I wanted to when I was 18 or 19. So now I'm actually using stand up kind of as a crutch or an elevator to put me in these places too. So I can see exactly what you mean when you say that it's letting you see the world, because it does, dude. I go so many places and meet so many cool people all the time that I would have likewise never done without writing these jokes and starting to go up on stage.
And if I get, if I have any kind of celebrity, or as I get great, you can do the cruises, and then you can see like all sorts of places on cruises, and then you can do USO stuff and like go to military bases in Baghdad and wherever the fuck.
Do you know Jeff Bodart from
No.
Indianapolis?
No.
He's really funny. He opens for Nick Swartzen sometimes.
Okay.
But he does cruise ships. And I featured for him last year, and he's a great guy, man. But I'm always seeing the great theaters that he's posting, 1,000-seaters every night that he's doing on these cruise ships. And he's always like also taking pictures with the people on the cruises. So he's constantly meeting fans and new followers throughout the day. Dude, it's a big networking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some comics don't like it. I think that being gone for 10 months out of the year is scary to people.
Well, you can't fall into one thing.
Like just the cruises forever, yeah, and get a residency.
Yeah, because then you're
turn hack, huh? After 10 years of
I
doing
don't know
the
if
same
you.
thing,
I don't
right?
know. I don't know if you turn. I don't know if you turn hack, but you're when you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Okay.
And like, so if you're on the cruise, you're not going to be like super present on social media. You're not going to be in like a local scene anywhere where you're like getting up in the mics and like working with younger kids and stuff. Like, that's fun to me. Is like when I go to a scene and like, I'll meet like the 2-3 year in guys that are like kicking ass, and it's like you get to talk comedy, you get to see different perspectives, and it's like, and like their enthusiasm like is like, like, oh yeah, let's fucking go, like let's do sick shit. So I don't know, like to me that's like pretty important part of it. And if you do the cruises, like let's like for 10 months you're gonna lose out on that stuff.
Yes. The relationships.
Yeah. Whereas that's why like I'm in a good spot right now, I think, because like I'll go open for someone big, but like they'll only be there Friday and Saturday, let's say, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'll go in on the Wednesday and I'll leave on the Sunday, just to like go in and do like a local thing, and then like
you frequent mics and stuff while you're touring.
Maybe not.
If you can.
Right, maybe not a mic, right?
Or do a podcast with a local comedian or something.
Definitely
like
that.
Yeah.
But like, so like this weekend I'm in Dayton with Liz, but I came in early. I did a Don't Tell yesterday in Columbus.
Oh, you were on the Don't Tell.
Yeah.
That's fire.
And then I did the pod, and then Sunday on the way out, I'm going to stop in Indianapolis and do their Sunday show.
Okay.
At Black Circle.
That's dope. Black Circle's
run
a great room over there.
So that's like a fun. I just did a fun, extra couple of days. Like I stayed with friends, so I don't have to like spend money on hotels or whatever. And like, I don't know, just, and then I'll go home and I'll do an open mic on Tuesday, and then slum it or whatever. Not slum it, but what I mean, slum it.
Well, you build your network up over time, like because I'm a feature act, so basically I'm not getting paid shit when I go out of town.
Yeah.
So a lot of times,
well, I am
I'm
too
with comics too. Like I'm like low level. I don't get paid as much as you to feature. I guarantee it. But I'm just saying, like, so I'm staying with people all the time. Like, So it's important to hit those mics and meet those comics, and
Yeah.
then not only the younger ones, but the headliners too, and try to make good impressions on them. And
Yeah. Because those kids end up running their own shows
They do.
and finding their own breweries and they go on tour and they do, it's like,
yeah. And then those are your homies, and then
Yeah.
they reach out and they tell the big people about you, like, "Hey, my dude back in Dayton, very
Yeah,
funny. You should let
yeah.
him open for us or whatever." Yeah,
yeah.
dude.
And I don't have that ego either where I'm just like my buddy Andrew Rose just put out his dry bar today or yesterday. And like it went like 50,000 views like in one day.
Sick, dude.
And I immediately was like, "Hey man, let me know when you need me to open you."
Hell yeah.
And like that same conversation last week would have been him asking to open for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I got no ego, man. I'll open for you, no problem.
Changes.
Yeah, like if you're blowing up, like I'll gladly open for you.
Exactly.
And then he was like, "I can't follow you," and I was like, "All right, well then I'll host. We'll get someone crappy for the middle."
I'm crappy. If you guys need, and I'll drive and do it for free. All right. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, man, it's like a fraternity or a sorority in that way, right? It's like you have these lifelong friendships that you make along the way, man. It's pretty dope.
Well, that's what music was for me too. Like I'm friends with all those people still, and like that helps me. That helps me in comedy because I have places to stay because of that stuff. Like, and then also like pandemic, like. I say like the pandemic shook everyone up like a Yahtzee dice and just like threw them out across the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No shit.
So
that's funny.
I was like, "Where'd you end up?" And they're like, "Oh, a suburb of Dayton." I'm like, "I need a place to stay in Dayton."
So have you ever thought about, not with all your tour experience, and I mean, you said this, and I know it stands true till today, people don't know how to go on tour or what to do even back then. Like, you ever thought about being like a tour manager or starting an agency with all the talent and all the people that you've met along the way? Just to make some money on the back end?
Sure, but that becomes your job.
I got you. Just like being on tour with bands, and your dream is stand up and shooting a special and being the guy.
Yeah, I want to be. Yeah, I want to be the guy.
I think that's awesome, dude. There's nothing wrong with being the guy.
And yes, I have that skill set. I've booked bands. That's not what I'm interested in doing.
Yeah.
Like I wanna be the guy.
Yeah, you want to have your own special on Netflix, and like what is?
I mean, is it Netflix though?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The goalposts.
A network
moving.
that would represent you properly, right? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, like I mean, like right now, like this very moment, like if I could put something out tomorrow, if it came out tomorrow, I want to be on Don't Tell.
Don't Tell.
But
you ever think about self-producing it?
Okay, sure.
YouTubing it?
But then how do you get
Monetize.
views?
Yeah.
How do you get views?
The views are there, dude. This is what I'll tell you is people are putting out crappy specials all the time right now because it's blowing up. And then YouTube recommendations like Mark Norman, like Andrew Schultz, those are doing so well that they actually will put you in the recommendations based on your tags and things like that. So you do get seen with the word stand-up comedy right now. It's like in an upswing, especially in Google search bars, man. So it's like being seen, yes, but monetizing it, I don't know right away if you don't already have some sort of monetization set in place.
I'm monetized,
dude. It would blow
on
up
YouTube, but I don't believe that it'll blow up without some kind of money behind it.
I mean, yeah, maybe $1,000. Do you know who Tom McDonald is?
No.
Okay, so Tom McDonald is a Canadian rapper, and I've recently watched a documentary on him. So he did about 3 albums here in America. He was living in LA in Compton. He's a white guy, and he wasn't making it. He wasn't successful. He wasn't doing his thing. And then about 2 years ago, he wrote this song called Dear Rappers as he's sitting on the front porch watching all this stuff take place around him in Compton. And so he writes this Dear Rappers thing about like how we're all killing each other and they're all like taking drugs and promoting this to the youth. And he makes this hit record, dude, and there's something about it, and he knows it's crazy. So his girlfriend is a videographer, and they shoot the video, record the song, do everything in one day. And then Tom calls like 8 of his closest friends and scrapes together $1,200. And he puts that $1,200 into YouTube advertising on Google AdWords. And so by the morning, the next day, he woke up with 50,000 Twitter followers, 50,000 YouTube subscribers. His video hit 1.1 million views. So I think that there's a formula to follow and I think that might work in comedy as well.
Yeah,
is my perspective.
Yes, but again, it's money. You need to have money behind it.
Yeah, have
and
a
then also,
or something like
and then also, I need money to make it look nice.
That's true too.
And then I need money to hire someone to make it sound nice.
These days, man, you can get it for. I think you can get
But
it for pretty cheap.
let's cheap, sure,
Cheap.
but not free.
Not free, yeah,
And
necessarily.
so there's a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah.
And then that's another thing. It's like, well, now my bandwidth is split, right? 'Cause now it's like, and whatever, I'm not making excuses, but it's like, well, I have surgery coming up. I have to move coming up. I still have to work.
Yes.
I mean, work is doing comedy, but still I have to do comedy.
Yeah.
And then I want to get better at that. And then I want to go back and shoot a special. And then I have to raise money to put the special out. So it's like, all right, one of these things I need to offboard.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let me offboard the special. Like,
For now, at least.
someone's got to want to do one eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I'm just a white person, but at some point.
Well, you are Jewish. Don't discount yourself now. Don't sell yourself short, baby. Your people are out there, and they need representation.
Yeah.
There's tattooed Jews out there, my dude. You're not the only one.
I know.
All right? You're not the only one. Man, this has been really fun. I'm glad that you came and talked to me today, dude.
No, I'm glad you invited me out,
I hope
man.
you crush it tonight at Funny Bone. Seriously, dude. I'm gonna try to make it out. I'm gonna stop by Wiley's and see that Tony Wood show. I don't have
He's
quite a
killer.
relationship with Funny Bone. They're not as like friendly with locals as per se like Wiley's is. So that's kind of the club that most of the locals flock to is Wiley's. But they do let some people in and kind of hang and kind of do that sometimes. So I don't know that I'll slide through, but I'm glad you came here and talked with me, man. It means a lot that
Thank you for having me.
a comic at your caliber kind of coming into a younger comic like me. I'm just saying it helps, dude. And other people will see this, and whether they get entertainment out of it or whether somebody gets a little gem in here that gives them some inspiration, that's what I can hope for. So yeah, dude, I really appreciate you coming, man. You want to shout out where you're going to be in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, and then also your social media before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm opening for Liz Mealy here in Indianapolis in March, and Austin in May. I'm opening for Ben Bailey in Delaware and Houston and Rochester. I'm opening for Ashley Gavin in Nashville. Adrian Appalucci somewhere, I don't remember where. And and a little tour with Liz to North Carolina, like Raleigh and Charleston, South Carolina, and yeah, I'm all over the world. I'm all over the place.
People can see you everywhere.
Yeah, just neilrubenstein.com or Neil Rubenstein on Facebook or Neil Rubenstein on Instagram. Like Instagram, I don't really post dates. You got to go to the Facebook or the website, but I post, some stuff and lots of clips and stuff.
A lot of clips. I watch your clips all the time. That seems to be the thing that's really taken off for you too. And they're hitting the thousands of views. I saw it.
Yeah, there's.
That's good. It's
a
about
K,
consistency with those. There's a K, at least 1K. Eventually you'll have that M. I know it, dude. You're a really funny dude. I've been studying your stuff. So
Well, I've had a couple of M's, but like it doesn't
necessarily
doesn't
translate
stick.
to anything.
Yeah, it's like
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. Self-production these days, man. Like, it took me the last 2 years to try to build this little studio, and I've also been taping sets with this and doing headshots for my friends and myself, and I feel like it's a lot of it, dude, is just about like that year one or year two, saving it up and getting to you're already hot enough. I know you got the talent and like the what do you say, like the material to fill the hour, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's just more so just the planning that's like that you're failing on. And other than that, I can't wait to watch it. I hope you know what I mean? Like, I hope that you get to do that soon, dude. And I would love to see you fall through with that. You guys make sure you watch Neil. Watch out for him. Go and follow him on social media, and also follow this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening. Go like it, subscribe it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and peace out.